if you're not interested in seeing interested in me reading all of their stories and how they ended up after the war, I'll see you in the next part. Bye bye. For anyone that is interested, though, let's go. Oh, I missed Marth. Ding dong. Hold on, I'll cut this out, but let me get to Marth's. It was on screen, you idiot. Hold on. Where is it? I know it's somewhere. No. Shit. Weird how it doesn't actually show it. Huh. Oh, here it is. Okay. So Marth's ending is the Altian Prince. Marth returned to war-torn Altia and devoted all his energy to restoring the kingdom to its former glory. He was later crowned king. Alright, now we'll just continue with all of them. Ceada, Talius's heart. Ceada visited her father and Talius before returning to Altia with Marth. Their whispers of love warmed the castle halls. Bones of Iron Jagan. Jagan? After the war, Jagan laid down his lance and became one of Prince Marth's closest advisors. King's voice, Kane. Kane remained in Altia to instruct younger knights in the ways of war. He was a shining example. Never did he neglect his training. Altia's shield, Abel. Abel left the army and opened a small shop. He was to be married, but in the end, his fellow knights were his most steadfast companions. Gentle giant Drug. Drog was put in charge of an outland garrison. The people there soon came to love their kind but stalwart protector. The Ungagged Gordon. Weird. Gordon squirreled himself to an Arcanian knight to further his mastery of the bow. Later, he returned to Altia with his brother. Altian healer Rice. Rice built a monastery and spent his remaining years caring for children who had lost their parents in the war. Loyal Blade Ogma. Ogma returned to Talius to serve its people. Perhaps love was not his long swoop. History contains no record of him marrying. The Hatchet Barst. Barst briefly enlisted in the Altian army, but later deserted to become a pirate, by some accounts. The Loper or Lopper? Bord. Bord returned to his peaceful life as a woodcutter. In time, he became renowned for his craftsmanship. The Chopper, Cord. Cord returned to his peaceful life as a woodcutter and in time became known for his speedy work. Look at that. Loving son, Castor. Castor hurried home to his aging mother, medicine in hand. They lived modest lives. Seawalker, Darius. It was back to the sea for Darius. By all accounts, carefree. He departed Arcania's shores for the last time. Honest thief, Julian. Julian gave up theory for good and found an honest job in Macedon. Angel to all, Lena. Lena cared for orphans at a convent in Macedon and doled out love, equal shares to all. The silent sword, Navarre. Navarre vanished after the great struggle, but for years impostors appeared hoping to profit from his reputation the world around. Mirthful mage, Merrick. After helping Marth stamp out the fires of war, Merrick returned to Cadine, where he continues his magical studies. I had to catch up for a moment. Dashing noble Mathis. Mathis left the army in favor of a dull and predictable life in Macedon. To him, bliss. Dude, same, brother. Same. Coyote, Hardin. Nya offered Hardin her hand in marriage, and so he was crowned the 24th king of House Arcania. The Aurelian hero, Wolf. Wolf remained a knight of Aurelius. He helped rebuild and later captained an elite force known as the Wolf Guard. Aurelian star, Seger. Seger remained a knight of Aurelius. He helped rebuild and later became vice captain and pillar of the Wolf Guard. Aurelian's hope, Roshia. Roshia left the army but later returned and became an Aurelian paladin. Records show he resided in Altia for a time. The Aurelian's son, Velin. Velin remained a knight of Aurelius and helped rebuild. Always he put his friends with whom he had grown to manhood first. Wise teacher, Wendell. Wendell became the senior mage in Clodia and embarked on a journey that took him from land to land in pursuit of truth. Big-time thief, Richard. Rickard returned home to live in peace, or so he claimed, even as the area experienced a surge in breakthrough and purse snatching. Fire Dragon, Bantu. Bantu sealed the Dragonstone's power and disappeared, but his wish was to live out his years in the Dalhurian countryside. Hired sword, Caesar. History lost track of Caesar after the war. Perhaps he found work as a bodyguard, perhaps some country made him a general. Lady Killer, Rad. Rad fell in love during the war and gave up his sword to win the woman's heart. Whether he succeeded, we shall never know. I sure hope he did. That'd be kind of pathetic. Still single Roger over here. Roger found his way back to Grust in the end and reached out to the many people whom the war had touched to help them. Perfect shot, George. George worked diligently to rebuild Arcania. Later, he was chosen from the palace's knights to become archer captain. Petite Princess Maria. After studying in Clodia for a spell, Princess Maria returned to Macedon to serve her people as a cleric. True leader Minerva. Minerva put all her effort into restoring Macedon to glory. All wished for her to be queen, all except Minerva herself, that is. Melodia's child, Linda. Linda entered Princess Nya's protection and became a lady at court. That was brief. Anna's love, Jake. Jake helped rebuild a town destroyed during the war. He and his lover, Anna, always dreamed of traveling to far-off continents. His archer, Midia. Midia honored her princess's request to remain with the Arcanian Knights and later became their captain. Spitting image, Dolph. Dolph had a short career as a general before leaving the army. Some said the move was tact rejecting the heart, the king-to-be. Deadringer, Massilian. Massilian left the Arcanian army with a word of explanation. He settled near the border and formed a band of watchmen. Quiet Bow Thomas. No one knows what became of Thomas after the war, but some suggested he returned home to live in peace. Royal Bishop Boa. Boa resumed his duties as Arcanian's royal bishop, guiding the kingdom while its people got back on their feet. Born shooter Beck. Beck became famous for subjugating a group of borderland rebels who, having never seen a ballista, panicked and promptly surrendered. Media's hero, Astram. Astram was made captain of Arcania's free company. He was given the sword Mercurius and with it carved quite a name for himself. Elder sister Pallia. The war left this once self-assured knight's heart in knots, but still, Pallia worked diligently at rebuilding Macedon. Middle sister Katria. Katria returned to Macedon to rebuild. Love for a certain man flared in her heart, then flickered when it went unrequite. Roaming hero Samson. Samson continued to ply at mercenary work throughout his life, but never sold his sword to any of those who did not meet his standards. Shapeshifter Zane. After the war, Zane left without a word. It was not until later that Marth learned his true identity. Little sister Est. Est fell in love with an Altia knight and found more happiness in a woman's life than a warrior's. Dragonskoin Tiki. Tiki lived a peaceful life with Bantu. She spoke fondly of her adventures with Marth, even long after they had ended. People's man Lorenz. Lorenz put Gruss Prince upon the throne and became his reagent, but he and Arcania did not always see eye to eye. Life giver Elise. Elise returned to Altia with Marth. Ever serene, she stood by her brother and watched him grow into a fine leader. White Sage Goda. He's Goda. At Nyan's request, Goda became Archmage of Arcania. The world never knew a better teacher. And then the brave knight Frey. Valiantly lured the enemy away to ensure Marth's escape from Altia, but sadly, no one ever heard from him again. Actually, I think it's in the lore that he actually survives that. I believe? I mean, you can't summon him with the Illum, or the whatever it's called. The Yum staff. So maybe he did actually survive, and that's your indication? I do believe, however, that the lore somewhere dictates he survived that encounter. But just never went back. I think he just left left it all behind. I don't remember the exact lore, but I do believe he survived. But I don't know if this is going to be its own part or not. It might be if the song is copywritten, but that's it. Shadow Dragon's main story comes to a close, as well as our Hero King Marth's story. Like I said, I'll be back with 1 or 2 more parts of the bonus stages, all the X stages throughout the game. Boy, that's going to take me a little bit to get to, but it should be fine. I'll just listen. I'll just train Marth up to level 30 and use the warp strategy to end every level super fast. Marth and maybe Sieta, so I have someone else. And maybe Lena. But anyways, that'll be it. If you've watched this potentially bonus part, potentially a true ending to part 22, thank you. I much appreciate it. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.